What's going on, Guardians? It's Tizzle here, and in this video, basically my farewell tour continues. I'm gonna just be going over some of my stats on like Grandmaster report, dungeon report, all that kind of stuff, and yeah, just looking at kind of what I've accomplished in Destiny over the years. So yeah, seals, I don't really care too much anymore because they're not hard to get. Like, here's how little I care. I could just go do 2 encounters on Solar, and then I would have Unleashed. But like I said, I just don't care. I kind of stopped caring pretty early on because in Beyond Light, you had to do 40 of these public event things, but you had to do it in a fire team. And I was just like, yeah, I don't care that much. So none of these I really care about. I still usually guild Dredgen. This will be my first episode or season that I've never guilded Dredgen. And at least this episode, I am going to come back and guild Conqueror. So I will be running like 8 more GMs. So my GM report, like, I will get a few more GM completions. But yeah, for the most part, this is just kind of a walk down memory lane to just look back on some fun times that I've had over the year in Destiny, or over the years, I should say. But yeah, so you can see I'm not much of a completionist when it comes to these titles, because like I said, a lot of these titles, they got really watered down after like the first year or two of the game. Like this one, I'm so close to Cursebreaker, but I just don't care to go get the Ahamkara bones. So stuff like that. So those are my seals. What else do we have? I was going to look at, oh yeah, I'm actually proud of this one. I have every single weapon craftable except the Vault of Glass returning weapons. And you'll see I have like none of those at all because again, I'm finally off the treadmill, guys, and it feels really good. And to be honest, a big reason for that is I don't have vault space. I don't want to delete any of my stuff. So it wouldn't even make sense for me to grind these weapons because I'd have to like keep them around for patterns and all that. And I just literally, I'm maxed on my vault right now. Would I like some of these? Absolutely. I would love Corrective Measure and I would love Hezin Vengeance. But at the end of the day, I don't really see myself returning in like a meaningful capacity to Destiny. So I don't really want to waste my time. Another one I'm quite proud of is I have every single catalyst besides Barrow Dyad. Shout out time gating. But yeah, and the Lodestar one. But again, that's time gated. But all the ones that are currently acquirable, I have every single one, which is kind of cool. Also, some of my armor stuff, like I got OG, like year 1 comp ornaments. I only played Warlock pretty much until middle of Curse of Osiris when there was nothing to do, so then I made a Hunter. I guess I still do have someone like Hunter and Titan. I can't even remember how you got some of these things. But yeah, I've got like all the Trials gear, again, except the latest stuff. Because I'm burnt out, guys. It's the God's honest truth. Almost got the full one for Warlock. I was just missing the bond. But yeah, I do really like this helmet. It's freaking sick, man. They killed it with these ones. But yeah, I like a lot of the PvP stuff. Like this is a classic helmet. I really liked this set. This one's pretty cool. The Warlock, I love that Skybreaker hood. This one's pretty nice. I even really like the new stuff. That cap mask is classic. I even have some Trials gear on my Warlock because, like I said, Unlock specifically is all I really played like for PvP year 1. I guess you must have unlocked the ornaments on your other characters because I don't think I was playing Trials on my Titan. I wish I had those OG Trials sets though. I must have, maybe, I can't remember how you unlock stuff back then, but man, the Hunter helmet for this is so sick. And even the gloves are pretty cool. So yeah, some of that trial stuff was really neat. What else do we... Oh yeah, then we'll go to Endgame. So I have, again, every single one except the Vault of Glass cloak from the raids. And that's just an RNG thing. Like I was running it lots, but just wasn't getting lucky on my Hunter. So if I do ever decide to get those patterns crafted, then I will be taking my Hunter through in hopes that I could get that cloak. And then, yeah, I don't have the full dungeon set. I'm really only running the dungeon like once a week per character. And again, RNG is just not being kind to me. And some of these were great. Like this Warlock set is so sick. I really like this helmet. This was a really nice set for Warlock as well from Grasp of Avarice. So yeah, I'm just really happy I have a lot of this stuff because I think it looks great. Back in the day, I loved Hood of the Great Hunt from Last Wish. This was the last piece I ever got. I did a, what was it called? Prestige Leviathan, like right before it was going away. We actually 5-manned it because I was on LFG at the time and a guy dropped and I still needed the helmet. I had all the other sets on my other characters. But yeah, I needed the helmet and I actually got it in that run. So I was so thrilled. I still love the Mask of Rawl on Titan. It's so cool. I'm really happy I have the Crown of Sorrows set. So yeah, just some cool armor sets and stuff that I like. And then for weapons, you can see there's like 1226 out of 1259. So there's only 33 weapons that I never obtained. And one is like, I think it's a scout or pulse rifle. Yeah, Frontier Justice. I don't know how this never dropped for me. But apparently it didn't. It doesn't really say where it came from. But yeah, that's like a year 1-1. I don't know why I never got that weapon or what happened there. But didn't. And then some are just, yeah, like the Scholar Adept. I'm not good enough to go Adept every weekend. And for certain weapons, I was just like, it is not worth it. There's like that shotgun, that arc one. I don't think I ever got that. Yeah, the Inquisitor Adept. I never got that. So there were certain ones I didn't unlock. But for the most part, I've definitely been a completionist. This week, we're getting the Palindrome back, so I will grind out actually both. So most people just jump straight into GMs and get the Adept, but that doesn't fill out your collection, so I usually do a Master one just to fill out my collections. And what's nice is I think they drop more frequently now in Master. They're a guaranteed drop if you get Platinum on Grandmaster. But in Masters, it was just like a random drop, even if you got Platinum. So I would have to run the Masters a few times sometimes to get it. But yeah, same with yesterday's question. Never really cared for the weapon, so never got the Adept version. Stuff like that. But yeah, I have, again, I've been playing this game nonstop. I have pretty much everything that you ever had to unlock. So yeah, that's kind of like all my collection stuff. So now we will check out the GM report and dungeon reports and stuff. So looks like we're starting with dungeon report because that's just the order I have. So Sundered Doctrine, I've beat it 15 times, beat the Master once. My Master clear was with Time Lord and Sutek, so they're cracked. So it was pretty much as fast as my fastest normal run. Wasn't too much harder really, but then again, I also had a really cracked team. I've solo flawlessed all the dungeons, as you can see. And the Whisper, so I actually soloed this back in the day and it took like all 20 minutes. And then solo flawless 0 hour, that was my very first video on my channel, was a commentary of solo flawless 0 hour. So you can see I loved the Whisper and 0 hour, but I only played them 16 and 19 times because this was back in the day when Bungie made content that was designed to be replayable, but they didn't force you to replay it. So you didn't have to go back in every week like you did with Choir of One and run Encore over and over until you wanted to just not touch the game again because I hated that mission. But back then, like I loved these, but still I only played them like 16 times, 19 times. That wasn't a whole lot. Did some normal and heroic. Actually, I did heroic more often. That's how you got like the catalysts and the ship and stuff. So yeah, loved those. Never got the solo flawless on Whisper, but I did solo it, so I was really proud of that. Then we got Harbinger. This doesn't have all the exotic missions, but yeah, I solo flawless Harbinger and did it 34 times. Presage, 36. Then we got Shattered Throne. This was my first solo, I believe, because you only needed to solo it, not solo flawless it to get the emblem. So I've done that 53 times over the years. Solo flawless, did it week 1, so not day 1, but again, I remember I LFG'd it and we got her done. Pit of Heresy, I did get day 1, and that was really fun and cool. The reason I have 233 clears is I never really farm dungeons to like get weapons. I usually just do full clears. But on Pit, I would always go to the boss. I don't know if I always got a checkpoint or I just ran through it, but I would always kill the boss on every character because you would get a masterworked piece of armor. And back in the day, we weren't just like swimming in good armor and whatever. So it actually dropped like with decent stats, and if it wasn't good, you could break it down for 6 enhancement prisms. So I was always trying to be like loaded up on prisms, loaded up on shards, because at the time you could only hold 10 ascendant shards, and then you had to bank the rest in your postmaster. So I was always farming Pit of Heresy boss. So that's why I have so many freaking clears on Pit. Prophecy, I love Prophecy. Up until Warlord's Ruin, it was definitely my favorite dungeon. Now they're kind of neck and neck. I would say Prophecy is my favorite old dungeon, and Warlords is my favorite New Age dungeon. But, I mean, they're both great. But Prophecy, it did get reworked, like with the loot refresh. So then I was running Prophecies just to try to farm some of the weapons. And, yeah, anyways, you can see my fastest clear was 10 minutes. I was just doing LFG, no mic runs, and I ran into some guys that were, like, totally cracked, and we just ripped that. The reason I have all these red dots is because I do testing on that Grasp Ogre. So I'll just go in, mess around on him, fastest one, sub 25. Again, I'm no speed runner, and I'm not usually, like, perfectly optimized, like, to the point where my builds are, like, in presets. So, I mean, that time's not terrible. What was my fastest shattered? 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I think I did a 20-minute solo flawless, actually, of Pit, so that could even be a solo one. Duality, 50 clears, very good dungeon. I think that one's so high. I actually only did 7, so I remember when people were farming for that Artifice armor from Master Duality, which pretty much set people up for life with, like, their armor. I wasn't around that weekend, or I was busy in real life because, you know, I do still have a life outside of Destiny. So I wasn't able to farm the Master nearly as much as I wanted to. You can see I have way more Master clears on Grasp, 65. So that's where I got all my Artifice armor. And even then, I wasn't keeping a lot because Artifice at the time, it just let you run an extra artifact mod, which wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't until later that they reworked the whole mod system that then it gave you 3 stat points. So I really only wanted good Artifice gloves because that would allow you to run 3 anti-champion mods on your arms. So you could run like Overload Hand Cannon, Anti-Barrier Pulse, and say like Overload SMG all at once. Where if it was Artifice, you could only have 2 anti-champion mods at once. So again, I wasn't even crazy about Artifice back in the day. I only wanted good gloves. And then they wound up becoming like better, and I had wished I had farmed some in Duality because the spikes were really good. But I mean, my armor's been good enough. Doesn't matter too much. Spire the Watcher. This was the first one I ever solo flawlessed on day 1. I know I did Duality pretty soon after it came out, but I know it wasn't day 1. Spire the Watcher, I actually got the solo flawless my first attempt. I was just like, I'm just going to go through the dungeon until I die, and then I'm going to like practice strats. So I got through the first boss after like an 8 phase, and I was like, oh, well, I'm still alive. I guess I'll keep going. And then I freaking like 8 phase the final boss. I remember I was using a machine gun and Starfire Protocol and just relying on my fusion grenades for damage on the bosses. So like I said, I was just more trying to just get through the dungeon and work out like places I would die, and I wound up solo flawlessing it. So that was my first day 1 solo flawless. Then we go to Ghost of the Deep. So yeah, 34, 50, like lots of clears, right? And then Ghost is only 21. I hate running Ghost of the Deep. I just hate the opening encounter and the opening traversal. The bosses in a team aren't too bad. The bosses solo kind of suck because of that overshield, but with how strong we are now, they're not even too bad. But yeah, I just don't like Ghosts of the Deep, especially being more primarily a solo player. So yeah, that's why only 21 clears there. Warlord's Ruin, 31 clears. I love Warlords. I still like to jump in with the buds and just run Warlords. I think it's a great dungeon. It's excellent. You can see like close to 2 days, just over 2 days, day and 7 hours, 2 days, 2 days. Like, I don't put too much time into these anymore. Pit of Heresy, 3 days, definitely my most. But yeah, then we got Vesper's Host, 19. Yeah, I just didn't run too much Vesper's Host. I ran a ton of it when I was working out my solo flawless strats. And then I got the solo flawless, and then, yeah, it was kind of a slog, and I was just kind of... This is sort of when I started to become getting burnt out with Destiny a little bit. And so, yeah, I didn't run Vesper's Host very much. never like farmed encounters. I just did full clears for the most part. 83% completion percentage, whatever that's about. I don't, like I said, I would have thought it'd actually be higher because I'm pretty sure. I wonder if it's something to do with getting that catalyst. You had to like jump in and do different things. So it had to be more doing the icebreaker catalyst stuff. Because I don't think I ever just jumped into like farm one encounter on Vespers. But yeah, so this is when I was starting to get a little burnt out. Plus, this was a pretty tough solo. Like I only soloed it once. Or like solo flawlessed it once. And before on like all my solo flawless guides, I would kind of like solo flawless it on every character. But like I said, I'm just kind of getting to the end here, so getting a little burnt out. And then Sundered Doctrine, I don't mind it in a team. I don't like running it solo. And yeah, I might do like 3 more clears just to get a bit more pinnacle drops, because I'm starting to get 20/20 drops now. And I do want a really good roll. I have really good rolls in the scout rifle, but I would still like my god roll of the hand cannon. I'd like either Hatchling and Frenzy or Hatchling and Elemental Honing. So we'll see if I can get that later this week. But outside of that, yeah, that's my dungeon report. Raid report, we'll start at the bottom again. So 40 clears of Leviathan, 5 days in there. Like our first clear, we were all noobs, me and my friends and some random LFG guys. We were beating our heads against the wall for like hours trying to beat. Again, I was not like I am now at the game. Like I was a total noob. So it took a long, long time. So yeah, 5 days. I remember that first one alone took like 24 hours and like 2 or 3 days of trying to beat it. And we'd just jump back in with the checkpoint. It was rough. 14 Sherpas. I'm amazed my average is as low as it is, given how long that first one was. But Eater of Worlds, nice quick raid. Didn't mind running this one at all. I have 14 Prestige because I was going for the Telesto Catalyst. 8 Prestige of Leviathan. I actually liked Prestige Leviathan a lot. They actually changed the mechanics, not just loaded it with champions. So yeah, Prestige mode raids were way funner than Master raids in my opinion. Spire of Stars dropped Sleeper Simulant, and I think it was the Prestige that would give you the toast emoji where you sit on the throne and like have your chalice and toast. And I think, anyways, it came from a secret chest. I don't know if it had to be on Prestige, but I know it didn't take me too many runs to get that, but it did take me 7 runs to get the Sleeper Catalyst. And I wanted the Sleeper more than anything. I loved Sleeper Simulant when it came back to D2. And yeah, so 7 clears. It's actually not that much, but it felt like a lot because that could be, again, I was on LFG at the time, and that could be quite a difficult raid with LFGers. But very cool raid. Yeah, I didn't run it too much, but looking back on it, it was a cool raid. Like if I had my raid team now, I would love to go back and run a Spire of Stars. Also, I had an amazing Sherpa for my first clear, and yeah, he was just like super patient with us and stuff, so that was really cool. And we all had to learn the mechanics. That was the thing. You couldn't really not do the mechanics in this raid. I think you needed like 5 people at minimum to like do the mechanics. So there was like no low manning this one. Scourge of the Past. I guess this was my first flawless raid. I'm not even sure. I don't even think it was. It's just our last clear was flawless. Me, Baker, PC, Will, we went in there and did a flawless before it was going away. I can't remember the reasoning for doing the flawless. But anyways, yeah, we had all jumped in. I really liked Scourge of the Past. Good pace, like fast. You can see my fastest was 23 minutes. I think that was with some like cracked gamers. They might have all been in a clan. We used Darcy on the final boss, and yeah, it was really fun. So big fan of Scourge of the Past. Crown of Sorrow has grown on me in hindsight. I didn't love it at the time, but again, I was LFG, and I think maybe it was just having some bad and toxic LFG teams. But looking back on it, I would definitely love to run some Crown of Sorrow again. But yeah, I had 48 clears of Scourge. I really liked Scourge. But some of it could have just been going in. I know, actually, yeah, I think I was just farming the Servitor encounter at one point with all these red dots because I was trying to get the always on time Sparrow, and that thing took forever to drop for me. I just wasn't getting lucky. Also, that Servitor encounter, super cool, super unique. Scourge is just an awesome raid, dude. It's a shame it's not in there anymore. 7 clears of Pantheon. I don't even know what that means. I guess I thought I only did it like once a week. Oh yeah, I just did Ralk 1, Nezarek 1. So yeah, I didn't... Pantheon was cool and stuff, but I was training for a marathon and I was moving cities at the time. So I really only had time to just do like one and done Pantheon stuff. And then I had to like get back to real life. So I was very busy when Pantheon was out. Last Wish, 55 clears. That is because 1,000 voices took forever to drop for me. 6 days in here. Yeah, I would just farm it every week for those keys, trying to get Anarchy. Sorry, trying to get 1,000 voices, and it just wouldn't drop. Scourge, I actually got Anarchy on like my first or second run, so I got really lucky with that. But yeah, 1K took forever. Garden of Salvation, I don't even know why I have 81 clears, like genuinely. Like I know I did go back and farm it out when they brought back the craftable weapons, but I didn't run it like that much. So this, again, this was around the time I was doing, or Shadowkeep had come out, and that's when I was getting more into PvE. So I was kind of between LFGs, and I had just met the guys that I still play with to this day, like Will and Baker, and some of their clanmates at the time and stuff. So anyways, maybe we were just running lots of gardens. I didn't know that my time was like that high. But I did attempt like the day one on garden, and we did get to boss, and I was close. Same with Crown of Sorrow. We got close to beating it day one, and only one team on console beat Crown first day, and we were on final boss. We just like couldn't string it all together, and that was just LFGs. Deepstone Crypt, this was my first day one attempt. So this is funny, I actually have the day one emblem. So this was our first team, again, like Will, Baker, we had some guys. We didn't get it done, and then my girlfriend was going out with some friends, and she needed a ride home, so we called it at like 2 or 3 in the morning. So I just went to pick them up, and then I like went to bed, couldn't sleep, so I got up, found an LFG, and we actually beat it. We beat the final boss, but the thing is, I never beat third encounter. So it says I beat it day one, like I did defeat Tanix, but I never beat third encounter. Or second encounter for that matter. We got stuck on A-tracks. We just couldn't do enough damage or whatever the issue was. So yeah, anyways, that was our first day one attempt. Gave it an honest effort, and then like I said, I couldn't sleep, so I actually wound up like killing Tanix, but I don't have the emblem. And then this was also my first trio. I had went to D2 LFG, and I had actually seen a post for a trio, and I was like, you know what, I should try some like low man stuff. I was starting to get into solo stuff, wanted to like push my limits. So this guy was like the Sherpa. So yeah, and then we found this other guy, and he was doing the Titan thing with Behemoth to slow down A-tracks so we could get rid of our radiation and all that. But he knew all the mechanics, so he kind of taught it to us. We had to work out the strats for each encounter. I'm surprised it only took 2 hours and 20 minutes. Like, I don't remember it taking super long, but obviously we caught on quick, and then we would like beat the encounter and then get to the next encounter, work out our strats. Once we had our strats, we'd beat it. So that was my first low man raid. It was just a random LFG. Oh yeah, Garden of Salvation was also my first flawless. I remember this skinny radish guy was really good. I was still on PlayStation at the time, and he was the one that like went to boss and pulled us because we didn't want to risk anyone dying on the traversal. But yeah, I just remember him being really good. Again, this was a random LFG. We got to final boss on our first attempt, and Buddy died at final boss somehow. I think he blew himself up with a GL or something really dumb. So we knew we could get back there, and then we just ran it back, and we got it on the second go. So two attempts for a flawless is not bad, especially with LFGers. So I was pretty happy about that. When was this? I even remember, yeah. So I was like hungover. See, it was a Friday, so I must have went out Thursday night. I was like hungover that morning. I was just looking for an LFG just to like run. Again, I don't know why I was running so much garden. But this LFG had said flawless. I'm like, you know what? I'm good enough to go flawless. So I was like, why don't I just join that one? I know at least these guys will be serious and good. And yeah, they were good, and we got a flawless. Deepstone Crypt. I guess this was some randoms too. Oh, I remember. Okay, so Deepstone Crypt has one of my favorite shaders. The flawless shader is so nice. And I had a bitch of a time finding a team. I LFG'd for this one a ton because I wanted that shader. And everyone would die. There'd always be someone that would die on the traversal after A-tracks. And then I was in a team, and I was the one. I always made it through there jumping flawlessly. Never died to jumping. The one time I was with a team that finally didn't die, I was the one that was about to die, so I alt F4'd so I wouldn't fuck the run for them. Then I came back, helped them get it. They got flawless. I didn't because I fucked up and had to alt F4. So then anyways, eventually I guess I found a good enough team. We went flawless, and yeah, I used to use that shader a ton. It's still a really nice shader. So yeah, that was my flawless Deepstone Crypt. And then we were trying to flawless with my raid team, like Will, Baker, Pete, Pat, and TJ. And we were joking, like we'd made it to third encounter, and then somebody was like, oh, wipe. Like, oh yeah, somebody forgot to rally. So like, I didn't rally, wipe. Obviously joking. It's a flawless run, and we're flawless at that point. And my buddy Pete blows himself up with 1K. And he's like, you said wipe! And we're all like, you fucking idiot. So I still don't know if my clan homies ever got flawless for that raid. Not that it's a very tough one to get flawless on, especially now, but yeah. I mean, Snazzy Rock and some other guys have solo flawless it, which is insane. Vault of Glass, yeah, so this is when I was kind of with like my main group. Not quite the main group, because we still didn't have crossplay. But yeah, it looks like we did a VOG flawless with these guys. I don't really even remember much of that one. It must not have been too painful. Trio. So this was my first trio with like some of my clanmates. It was me, Pat, and TJ. So these trios, my first two trios, these were before the Rezil changes. So there was two things. You had to know how to do the mechanics in like a 3-man fire team, which is one aspect, like one challenge. But then the other aspect is killing all the enemies and also surviving. Which was actually quite tough as a trio back then before the Rezil changes. Vow the Disciple, Witch Queen, that's around the time the Rezil changes came in. So you'll see I have no more trios. Because I was like, okay, well, now it's just mechanics. Like staying alive isn't hard because we got Power Crept and the Rezil damage resist changes. So then I never really cared to attempt any trios after that. So that's why I don't have any more trio badges. I know it's just a matter of learning the mechanics, and I know I could do that. I just have never really wanted to. So yeah, our flawless vow, I don't think this took too many attempts. The toughest part I remember being was like the jumping puzzle. So this was like our day one vow team, and then this was our raid team like for a while. Pete and Pat have kind of moved on, but I still play with like TJ, Baker, and Will a lot. They're also like my mods on Discord and for my Twitch channel and stuff, so I'm good buddies with those guys for sure. But yeah, so that's when we had like a set raid team. We beat it on contest, not in the first 24 hours, but we woke up, slept on it, and smoked it like our first attempt. You can see contest, like 45 minutes. Baker must I'm not sure what happened there. But yeah, it was like 1 or 2 pulls, and we beat it after some sleep. So that was really exciting because Vow contest was pretty tough, to be honest. So that was cool. Then we did challenge day 1 of King's Fall. That had a really tough damage check on War Priest, especially the challenge mode, because you had to like run really fast. So yeah, that was a really good feeling. And then yeah, 26 clears. I love King's Fall. Probably my favorite raid, to be honest. Root of Nightmares flawless. Pretty sure this was a cakewalk. Like Ron is kind of a joke. Same with the day 1. I guess, I don't know again why this is showing 40 minutes, but I think we're within the first 7 hours. I know that. Like the day 1 was really chill. Crota challenge was very, very tough. Pete actually had to go in like the 11th hour, so we got this power liftist guy, and he came in and we did it in like 2 or 3 pulls. Like only 13 deaths he had. So yeah, anyways. That was quite challenging for us. The Crota's End flawless. The toughest part was the opening section. Once you're through the opening section, I don't think we had an issue. And then Salvation's Edge, we never did flawless. It was like summer. Guys were getting busy. Never really gave it an honest attempt. And yeah, you can see I only have 15 clears of Salvation's Edge. I don't like rerunning Salvation's Edge. The day 1 was really good. We got to final boss, got like right down to the end. I think we might have hit a final stand on 1 pull, but we just couldn't pull it out. We were so drained, so tired. So didn't get the day 1, but then as soon as contest was off, we like smoked the boss, obviously. So that was a little disappointing because it was really just Had we played it differently and went to bed right when we got to the witness, I have no doubt we'd have beat it. We were just exhausted and then beat our heads against the wall too long, and then we kind of ran out of time. But Salvation's Edge, not my favorite raid. Too mechanic heavy for me, especially the encounter before final boss with the ghosts and all that. It's just not really my thing. It is very cool, don't get me wrong. I think Bungie did a great job on the raid. It just doesn't have the replayability factor for me personally. It's just too much. I like to just kill shit. So maybe we'll finish with the GM report. Lost Sector report, basically equal on Legend and Master. Now, for the most part, I only run Master. Looks like I've solo flawless Master every single one. I've probably solo flawless Legend all of them. Maybe just the banner is different. Empty Tank. I'm actually surprised I don't have a solo flawless Master badge on this, because I feel like I did do it. And this one was only around at, like, I remember this. It was around just at the beginning when King's Fall came out, because we beat the challenge mode, and I actually took Touch of Malice in here just to get video footage, and then I went to bed because I was so exhausted. Like, I put out a video after we ran a full challenge mode raid. So we did like the full raid, then the challenge mode raid, then I got the exotic, so I made a video on the exotic, and then I went to bed, and then this Lost Sector never returned, oddly enough. So that's why I have no clears, even though I did jump in there to like test out Touch of Malice. But all the other ones I do. So Velis Labyrinth. This is what really got me into like soloing stuff. Was Lost Sectors had just come out, and this was the quickest one to farm, and I wanted a good Mask of Baccaris. So I was in there on my Hunter constantly, just trying to get my times faster, testing builds in there. Like, look how many clears, 291. Because I was just really enjoying like beating it as fast as I could and like really pushing myself and optimizing my strategies. So then they did change Velis Labyrinth, where now you can't just rip through the maze. You actually have to like shoot these runes or symbols. So yeah, Empty Tank was an absolute classic. God, I miss the Tangled Shore. Like, seriously, Tangled Shore was one of my favorite planets. I honestly miss it. So it'd be nice if that came back, but that was a cool one. Any other ones that I really like or that like stand out? These ones are quite quick. Yeah, Skydock. Minute 21, minute 31 Master. Like, that's smoking for a Master. Minute 2 on Excavation Site. My Master's actually quicker than my Expert. Scavenger's Den, 2 minutes. Let's see. To this day, which one is it? K1 Revelation remains one of the harder ones. I mean, 4 minutes, but like, it's one of the more challenging ones for sure. But yeah, some pretty quick times. I just like running Lost Sectors, and they're great for like getting build footage. And they're just fun. I remember I did Perdition really fast back in the day, like before we were super power crept. I did it 2 minutes Master on Devour Warlock with Worldline 0. Anyways, that was one of my prouder ones for sure. Metamorphosis I actually really quite like. 2 minutes and 5 seconds on Master is ripping. Yeah, let's see. Jeez, I can't believe I did a 2 minute Master of Sepulture. That seems fast too. Thrillodrome, again, sub 3 minutes on any of these, the Neomuna ones seems pretty fast to me, but yeah, anyways. What else? Gilded Precept, that's pretty quick. Jeez, 4 minutes, 37 seconds on Forgotten Deep. So you can see as time went on, actually, I don't think this is updated because I was just doing this one recently for a build video. So maybe it hasn't fully updated. But you can see the clears and stuff like 291, 70, in the 50s, 110, 135. Once, not Beyond Light, what the hell was it called? The freaking Neomuna campaign. God, my brain is fried. Once that came out, I was really kind of over doing Lost Sectors, and I had moved on to like solo GMs. So that's why like these ones, very low clear counts. And then with Final Shape, also very, very low clear counts. I don't think it's as low as this is saying, because I know I've beaten this one more than once, definitely. I know that. But still, 1,600 Lost Sector clears. We'll look at the time wasted. So this is pretty interesting. I actually jotted it down because I had deleted my Titan literally the week before Bungie announced that you'd be able to change, because I wanted a female one. and I had a male one. So me and my buddy TJ, we deleted our Titans so we could make female ones. So anyways, if we add that up, that's 2,167 hours. So I'm only 13 hours behind Hunter. And then obviously I have like more than 500 hours more on my Warlock, because when I started the game, I was only a Warlock main. But yeah, over 7,000 hours, countless more creating content, watching YouTube content. So like, they say it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert in anything. I definitely have more than that as far as just like consuming information on the game. And then we'll look at the GM report. So this actually surprised me because I've never really looked at this too close, but solo strikes, I've done 20, which surprised me. And then I added up like all these solo times 3. Anyways, I've done 75 solo GMs now, which quite surprised me. And I'm actually very happy. If we look here, Devil's Lair is the one I've done most. And that's also my favorite, one of my favorite strikes in Destiny history. And so yeah, I'm glad that one's the most. It was also the first solo GM ever did. So again, it was before the resilience changes, so it was quite a slog. I was on Controverse Warlock, and yeah, it took me around 45 minutes, but I got it done. And that was a huge accomplishment for me because I just wanted to prove to myself I could solo a GM. And then once the resil changes, that's the thing. I didn't like soloing GMs at the time because I didn't like one-shot mechanics. I felt it was cheap. You can do everything right and peek for half a second at the wrong time and get one-shot sniped by a Vandal or like run into a Scorn Void Grenade or something like that. Like something that's like damn near out of your control. It's still in your control, but it's just cheap to get one-shot. Within reason. Like a boss should be able to one-shot you in a GM, but like to just die to a crappy ad sucks. So I only had done it once. Then those result changes came in, and that's when I really started like pushing to solo. So you can see I have 28 of 31 strikes. Me and Will and Baker, we got Conquer the very first season it was ever out, but we didn't do the second season because Corrupted was in there, and it was very tough at the time. And we're like, we gave it like 1 or 2 attempts, and it was like right at the end of the season. So we're like, if we beat Corrupted, we'll go get Conqueror. We're kind of burnt out. We're like, this is too tough. Let's just say fuck it. Because at the time, there was genuinely zero incentive to doing GMs. It was just for bragging rights. They were one and done. And if you had Conqueror from the season before, gilding wasn't even in the game. So there was no gilding. There was no adept loot. It was just for bragging rights and to say you beat it. And we're like, well, we don't really want to, because OG Corrupted was like hard as hell. We're like, we don't really want to slog away at this and then still have 4 more GMs to complete. But yeah, so that means we didn't do some that have never been back since. So like Tree of Probabilities, I don't think we beat that GM. Savathun's Song, don't think we beat that GM. Not that those ones would have been easy, but I have no doubt we could have beat it if we had tried, but we just didn't even try because we were just didn't want to beat the Corrupted really. And so we didn't. So that kind of sucks. I wish we could get those final 3. But yeah, so 20 of 31 is pretty cool. 490 clears. That's also interesting because I am going to Guild Conquer this episode, or I plan to. I do plan on coming back like near the end of the episode just to kind of finish out the episodic storyline because I always do like Hive stuff. And then I might as well Guild Conquer because like I've paid for the content. I still like running GMs. I'll run with some buds, run some builds I want to run. Like GMs are easy for me in a team because I'm used to soloing them. So I'll get to run like some more off meta stuff and stuff that I like running. So I do plan on guilding it. So I'll be right at 499. So maybe I'll just top it off at like 500. And that's the other thing I found interesting. I have 774 dungeons. So I'll probably run 3 more this week, 1 on each class. So that would put me up to 18 on Sundered Doctrine and 777, which is kind of a cool number. And then, yeah, I'll probably like tap out right around 500 GM clears. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, other than Devil's Lair, not really too much to talk about. I do really like Insight Terminus. I might actually solo that one when I come back to do Gilded Conqueror because I do want to compare my Crown of Tempest build from a couple seasons ago to how it is now because they buffed Stormtrance, they buffed Darcy, basically use the same build, but now it's juiced. And see how much quicker I can beat it. Because I did that one in sub 20 minutes. And Insight Terminus was also the very first GM that we ever did. So I think maybe I'll do like all the other GMs, have Insight Terminus left, do it on Crown of Tempest, like an OG Red War Exotic, and then who knows, that could be my last GM ever. Again, I don't know. It's just how I'm feeling right now is pretty severe burnout, and I'm just ready for a different game, but we'll see how the future unfolds. Maybe Frontiers, they'll get rid of time gating and give us 10,000 vault space and do a lot of things that I've really wanted. Give us a testing ground, stop releasing content that's unfinished and broken. Maybe, we can hope, but if they don't, I won't be back, and I'm fine with that. Like, I've just shown you in this video, I've accomplished everything that I want to accomplish in this game and more. It's given me tons of amazing memories. I hope you enjoyed my walk down memory lane of, my first raids and my first flawless raids and solo GMs and stuff like that. Like I said, I just wanted to make this video just as like kind of a keepsake for me to look back on 10 years from now, like, oh man, I had some good times in Destiny. So that's basically what this video is, and I'm just sharing it with you guys. So I hope you enjoyed it, found it entertaining if nothing else, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care. Hey, if you're still here, then thanks so much for watching to the end. If you like what I do and you want to support me further, then consider becoming a channel member. You'll get your name featured on the end screen, custom badges, and other cool rewards. You can also join my community Discord if that interests you, and if you want to see me stream, be sure to follow me on Twitch at itstizzle7 where I stream semi-regularly. Those are linked in the description. Anyways, that's enough self-promotion. Thanks for watching. Take care.